Welcome back to Inglés 4.0, the radio show. Let's go! Intermediate. All right, welcome back to the program. Thank you very much for joining me today. Here we are in the intermediate portion of today's class, number 176. And I'm joined today by a very special guest who has been on the show with me a few times before, but it's been a while. Alvaro, how are you?
Good, Kyle. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for coming, Alvaro.
It's a pleasure, as always.
Well, today, Alvaro, we're going to start with a review of numbers.
Okay.
Numbers. So what I'd like you to do is get a pen and paper, along with all of our friends at home, to get a pen and paper and be prepared to write down the numbers that I dictate. Okay, but now the trick is you have to remember the rules for numbers. Do you remember the rules for numbers, Alvaro, or should I refresh your memory?
Well, quick refresh, it could help.
Okay, so remember, we always say 125,456, right? 100 and, never 1,000 and, unless there's a zero in the 100 position, but 100 and we have a comma instead of a point.
Okay.
Right? We changed where you, in Spanish you put the point, we put the comma. And we don't say thousands, hundreds, we just say without the S, right?
Okay, so we write it with the S, or we don't pronounce it, no?
No, we don't.
No?
You don't. 100
Thousands?
for 100 for example, 125,287,000.
Okay,
Right?
well, in that case, no.
In that case, with the number, right? We're talking about the group, which is the thousands.
But the plural of thousand is with S, no?
Yes.
And you pronounce the S in that one? Thousands?
What do you mean? No, like he has thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Yes.
You pronounce
yes.
it. Oh, okay,
exactly.
okay.
You have to write it and pronounce it in that case. But otherwise, just the number, no S. Okay, are you ready for this one?
Safe and sound, go on.
Okay. The first number is 340,660. And the second number, 123,546. Did you get that?
Okay.
And the third number,
Oh.
there's a third one, Alvaro, 122,550. Okay?
Okay.
So what was that first number?
It's 340,660.
Correct. 340,660. Now, also, we can also notice the intonation. 340,660, right?
40, 60.
Yeah, so with the
Okay.
numbers ending in 0, 40, 50, 60, the stress goes on the first syllable, 40, right? Whereas 14, 14, this helps you to make it clear.
So 340 and 660.
340,660. Correct.
660.
And the second number?
123,546
Okay.
and 46.
546.
546.
Correct. And the second number?
The second number.
I'm sorry, the third number?
number.
The third number?
It's 122,550.
Okay. 550. Correct.
50.
Correct. Very good. Well done. Should we try one more bonus number, Alvaro?
Let's go.
Bonus number?
Bonus number.
Are you ready?
Okay.
At home, is everybody ready for this? The bonus number is, for all the money, 141,560.
Okay.
What was the number?
141,560.
Repeat.
141,560.
Nice. Fantastic. Well done, Alvaro. And well done to you at home if you got all the numbers correct. Let's move on now, Alvaro, to take a look at some questions with the question word what. But here, what's the best way? You say, ¿cuál es la forma?
La mejor forma.
La mejor forma. But it's interesting you say cuál in Spanish, which if you look it up in the dictionary, it says cuál, which. But in English, when we're asking what's the best way, we always use what in this. What's the best way? What's the cheapest way? What's the fastest way to get to Seville? What's the fastest way to get to Seville?
Abe,
Probably the Abe.
definitely.
Yeah. Is it the cheapest way to get to Seville though?
No, bus. I would say.
Yeah, the bus is probably the cheapest way to get to Seville. Yeah. What's the fastest way to get to London?
London from here
Yeah.
by plane,
Yeah, by plane.
but it depends on the airport, because there's some airports that are further from the center of London.
That's true.
So I think it's Stansted.
Stansted? Yeah.
I think it's the closest one. That's the far one, no?
Yeah. And then you have those pesky shuttles. Well, you have those shuttles that, well, I mean, they are fairly convenient, but it's a bit expensive to get downtown, isn't it, from those airports?
But if you fly to London and then you need to spend 1 hour inside a bus, it's like
it's a bit frustrating, isn't
that's
it?
like an extra hour to your trip.
Yeah. It can be a bit frustrating, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So we say, what's the best way? Because what's the difference between what and which? What and which? Basically, que and cual. But in this case, we're using what when it's used cual in Spanish. So it's a bit different.
Maybe what's like an open question and which is between this and this?
Well, that's an interesting observation. Yeah, the question word which is used when we have limited options.
Car or?
Limited and understood options, right? So, in fact, the example I gave yesterday on the radio was, what brand of cigarettes does he smoke? Right.
There's a limited amount of.
What brand of cigarette? We don't know. Maybe it's Guangdong cigarettes because maybe you buy your cigarettes in China. I don't know. I don't know all the options. I don't understand the limits of the option set, right? But now, if I'm in the restaurant and I go over to the machine, I'm going to the washroom and I'm passing by the machine, you say, Kyle, buy me a pack of cigarettes. And I say, no problem. They've got Camel, Lucky Strike, and Marlboro. Which one do you want? Because I just defined the options.
There's no more in that machine.
That's it. Those are the options, so I defined them. Very often it's visual. This one or that one, the blue one or the red one, the big one or the small one.
Which one visual?
Very often it's either visual or it's simply defined. The options are defined and understood, which is the important part, right?
Okay.
Okay. What's the best way? Yeah, so is this, what's the best way to learn English, Alvaro?
Practicing.
Practicing every day.
A lot every day. And for me, it helped a lot of TV series and movies and music. The three of them.
Yeah.
Helps a lot.
So finding ways to expose yourself to the language.
Definitely.
Through teaching, having proper classes, but also, yes, exposing yourself in your day-to-day life is very important.
If you can travel to another country, it's better. But if you can't, meanwhile, you're in your own house. You can study and practice. You watch the same movie, but instead of Spanish, English.
Yeah, sure.
It's easier. Try to listen more foreign music.
Absolutely. All right, Alvaro, let's move on and take a look at our word of the day.
Dun, dun. Word of the day.
Word of the day. All right, it is time for the word of the day. And our word of the day today, Alvaro, is, how do you say rascacielos?
I know it, but the last time I said that word, everybody laughed at me.
I know. A lot of people know it, entre comillas, but then they try to say it and they
Skyscraper.
Skyscraper.
Because if you don't say this scraper, it can be another thing, no?
It can indeed. It can, yes.
So skyscraper.
Skyscraper. Now, not
Scratcher,
scratcher, but skyscraper.
Skyscraper,
yes. Okay. So what is the difference between scratch and scrape?
Scratch is rascar. No, just
rascar. I'm scratching when like in The Simpsons.
It's itchy, no?
Yeah. Rasca y pica, right?
Everything.
Itchy and scratchy.
Itchy and scratchy.
But we say scratch to scratch. But here, scrape is more profundo, you could say, right? You scrape yourself and maybe you take some skin out, you scrape yourself. I used to scrape my knees a lot when I was young.
Why?
Oh, by accident. I'd fall down,
playing,
run down. I scraped my knee. And I'd be crying.
Yeah, but if you had that, that's normal. I mean, you have a normal childhood. If you never had that one of those, you didn't have a normal childhood.
That's right. It's
Happened
normal.
the same to me.
Sure. Yeah. So we say a skyscraper. It's something that is
Skyscraper.
essentially scraping at the sky, I suppose, somehow. Right? Skyscraper. Are there a lot of skyscrapers in Madrid?
No, just the 4 new ones, 4 buildings,
Mm.
and they're cool. But compared to other cities, like let's say New York, for example, it's not the same.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there are a lot. You were recently in New York, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Did you go up in any of the skyscrapers?
As much as I could.
Yeah.
I've been in the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
That's the most famous one.
Yeah.
And I also this time I went to the Rockefeller Center.
Cool.
Top of the rocks.
Nice.
Cool,
Ah,
different
yeah.
view.
How is that? Top of the rocks. I've heard about that.
It's cool because it's the only. Well, that's not the only, but it's a very good, very cool place to take pictures of the Empire State. Because if you're
Yeah.
in the Empire State, you can take pictures of the Empire State. Obviously,
That's
you
right.
need to go to another one.
Yeah. Well, I went to New York, I think it was in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to go up in the Twin Towers
Ooh.
and take pictures from there of the Empire State Building, which of course you can't do anymore. But it was interesting, and I guess a similar sort of view.
And there's also this other place that is called the 230th. Talking about numbers.
Mhm.
And it's in the 7th Avenue, if I can remember. And it's like this chill out terrace in a 20-something floor.
Mm,
So you can see the sunset, having
Cool.
a drink.
cool.
And the sun is projecting over the Empire State Building.
Nice.
It's a very, very, very nice view. It's one of my favorite moments. I would say my top 20 my whole life.
What's it called?
230th.
230th.
I think it's 230th.com, something like that. It's a very, very cool.
But what
terrace.
does that number mean?
It's in the name of the number in the street,
On the street?
in the 7th Avenue.
7th Avenue.
It's,
Okay.
It's next. It's like 1 block from the Flatiron
Okay.
building. So
Okay.
you can walk in from the Flatiron,
Okay.
and it's a really nice view.
Yeah, which is 7th Avenue. Is that the one that's also known as Avenue of the Americas? Or that's 6th
No,
Avenue?
that's the 6th Avenue.
6th Avenue, yeah.
Avenue of the American, all the Americans of America. I've seen it written like in 3 different ways in maps and the streets.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be called Avenue of the Americas, I believe. But yeah, you can see it written different ways.
It depends on the map.
Okay. All right, well, let's move on now and talk about the past perfect tense.
I prefer to talk about skyscrapers.
Yeah, I know. But we got to talk about it some. Before I went to Argentina, I'd never been to the Southern Hemisphere. Before you started working here, had you met so many foreigners? Ooh, the past perfect.
Yeah, before starting working here.
But had you dealt with so many foreign people, really? Because you deal with foreigners all the time.
Yeah.
Guiris, right?
Guiris.
Have you dealt with so many guiris before you came here?
I've dealt.
I had dealt with,
I've dealt with Guiris before,
but so many
but so many.
every day? Oh, really?
No, I mean not that much.
Mhm.
I mean now it's like all concentrated in my life.
Yeah. You know, before I came to Spain, I don't think I had ever met a Spanish person before I came to Spain, because in Canada there aren't very many Spaniards.
It's like a shock culture now.
Yeah. Before I came to Spain, I had never. Now, we also use this structure with already. For example, the concert had already started when I arrived, or by the time I arrived, right? By the time I arrived, Alberto had already recorded 2 radio shows today. By the time I arrived. Right?
By the time.
How long had you been working today by the time I arrived?
Poof. What time do you arrive?
I don't know. I think I arrived at about 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. I've worked. No.
I had been working.
I have been working by the time you arrive, like 6 hours.
I had been working 6 hours
had been
by the
working.
time.
By the time you arrive.
Yeah. Now, I was working as well, but I was working on other things, at home, preparing these shows.
This show takes time.
Yeah, I had been working on this show for a few hours before I arrived. By the time I arrived, by the time I recorded it, right? By the time I recorded this show, I had been in the studio for 3 hours recording other shows and the Verb Circus.
Verb Circus.
and different things, you know?
Volume 2 coming out soon, no?
Oh, thank you for mentioning that, Alvaro. Yes, coming to the store where fine discs are sold.
Good. That's good.
Well, the Von Tienda, let's say.
It's a blockbuster, no?
Hopefully. We'll see. I think it'll do well. Okay, how do you say, cuando por fin llegamos allí, todo el mundo se había marchado?
When we finally...
Or cuando por fin, by the time, let's try that. By the time.
By the time we arrived there,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has gone.
Everyone had
gone.
They had left.
Everybody had gone.
They had left. They had gone. All right, very good. All right, we have one more thing to do. Let's move on quickly to take a look at our vocabulary of the day. Vocabulary of the day. All right, it is time for the vocabulary of the day. Our 5 words of vocabulary. The first word is contabilidad. How do you say that in English?
Accounting.
Accounting. Dinero en metálico.
Cash.
Cash. Presa.
That's a good one. What's the first letter?
D.
Dike? No.
Dam.
Dam.
D-A-M.
Oh, dam.
Dam. Like Hoover Dam. Right?
Right.
Polvo.
Dust.
Guarda.
Guarda as a guard.
Guard. Yeah, guard. Very good. Now we have one more structure to look at quickly, which is late yesterday evening. Practicing with a few different verbs. Did you meet him late yesterday evening? Give me an affirmative answer. Yes.
Yes, I met him yesterday.
Late yesterday evening.
Late yesterday evening.
Okay.
And that means...
To me, ayer a última hora de la tarde.
A última hora. Late yesterday.
Late yesterday evening, a última hora de la tarde. Did you steal the jewels late yesterday evening?
I didn't steal...
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't steal the jewels.
Steal
the jewels late yesterday evening.
Okay. Did you meet my friend Steve late yesterday evening?
Yes. I met your friend Steve late yesterday evening.
Okay. I met your friend Steve late yesterday evening. Good. All right, well done. Alvaro, we're completely out of time.
Really?
Yeah, but I want to thank you so much for joining me. But we'll be back in a few minutes with the advanced portion of today's class and back with more at the intermediate level tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for listening. Thanks again, Alvaro.
C'est pas sûr.
We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.